Howdy y'all, it's Weston. I'm here with Live with Lava Sub, our Tuesday art stream for Nerdcrafty. I'm glad to be here. I'm alive, I am in fairly good health, and I'm going to be doing some redraws of some physical drawings I did recently. Some of these are recent actually, some of them are a little bit older, but I'm going to be redrawing them either way. And first you see these cute little dudes. They're the same character. I just didn't necessarily get them perfect as far as their similarities, but I think that's exactly why I thought it would be fun to do these here. Give me an opportunity to kind of like, well, you know what the issue is. is pen is really difficult to erase. If you've never tried it before, I don't recommend it. It is pretty frustrating. So you just kind of get one shot at a line a lot of the time. So I'm gonna go and get quite a few more by doing it this way, and maybe talk a little bit about why that's an interesting, like a fun aspect of kind of being able to do both. Like, I love the idea. It was actually how I really started getting into digital art, was realizing that I could take older physical pieces and try out new ideas without using a lot of paint, which is really expensive if you are not aware. Paint is incredibly expensive, as are brushes and cleaning supplies, and not to mention the space you need to do all of it. It's, it can be difficult to want to experiment with something where you have most of the piece done, but you want to experiment with this last, third of the piece, this last, the final, kind of the finishing touches, Ooh. Well, digital gives you that kind of ability, that ability to try as many things as you want and erase them as many times as you want. And that is a certain freedom that I really, really loved when I first kind of started messing around with digital art. It was a very big kind of moment for me. Like, yeah, as you can tell from like this piece, and I'm sure you'll be able to kind of see it in the pieces I'll be doing in a minute after I finish this one. I've got 4 lined up for us. My drawings have a very specific style to them, let's say, in that, I'm not like a classically trained artist. I've taught myself and learned from friends who are much better than I, certain techniques and ways to practice that I would have never found on my own. And you can tell that with my stuff, it's not exactly like proportionally perfect. I am still very much learning, honestly. I always hope to be learning. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to give this arm a little bit more of that symmetry with the other side, with the elbow kind of more present, that bend of the arm giving kind of that shape to the body of the figure. I'll be honest with you, even cartooning is can be pretty difficult for me. I tend to get really obsessive about lines, and especially in physical pieces, that can be disastrous. Yeah, here, let's Boop, boop, boop. Little preview. Very fast one. Yeah, look at this cute little dude. I love. Okay. So we're rocking and rolling. Yeah, that's them. That's this little buddy. I think I want to throw a little color into it now that we've got just this basic line work done. Oops, not that. Let's do this instead. There we go. So I'm going to use the underlayer, just use the fill tool real quickly, throw in a little bit of color. I've already kind of thought about the... I've already given a little bit of thought to how I would color these little guys. So this should only take a moment. Beautiful. Then I'm going to throw in a little bit of paint. I want to get us something a little bit smeary. So I can create a little bit of that motion. These kind of like the idea that this little dude's hovering. You know. I'm actually going to use my little circle tool. Try and find that right. And then, oopsie. We want blue. There we go. Alright. I see. Let me just adjust this brush's settings. Alright. That looks lovely. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna try and draw this straight on now. The interesting thing you'll be able to see is that I'm gonna have to make quite a few adjustments in this because I want the figures to be more or less the same height. I want these to be this completely the same figure. This isn't something I practice very often. If I'm being completely honest with you. But, oops, let's go back to our pen. Perfect. So I'm just going to lay out real quickly a couple of guidelines for these, this little friend. Nope. There we go. So I'm just marking out where the head, the neck, I guess I'm just going to do the bottom of the torso. That should be enough. More than enough, really. There we go. And I'm using just a separate layer. I'm going to kill the opacity a little bit so that I don't get halfway through the drawing and go, why can't I see what I'm doing here? Get frustrated. We don't need any of that today, right? Nah. So, tell you what, let's try just using the circle tool on this guy. See if I can't make this even cleaner the second time around. Oops. Pay no attention to that drawing on the wrong layer. It didn't, and we didn't even see it. Didn't happen. probably could have saved myself a little bit of time. Well, who knows? Let's see if I can't still save myself that same time. Because time is just a construct, it's an illusion. We created it. We can uncreate it. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Let's give this another shot. It's almost too clean at that point. Let me fill this in and show you what I mean. See, now they look so different because it's actually like perfect circles. So, you know, I think I'm gonna just have to freehand it. Make a couple of adjustments while we go. And you know what? That's friggin' pretty cool. So what I want to do, I just want to make a nice, gentle oval shape. Oh man, I need to clean out my phone. You can see it slowing down at different points. It's been telling me your storage is almost full for days, for maybe longer than days, for a while. I gotta take the time, offload some stuff. Oh my goodness. Editing video? Oh my gosh. On your phone? Don't recommend it. Alright. Well, no one said this had to be perfect. Interesting. I don't dislike it. I think I'm just gonna touch things up a little bit. Oopsie. Yeah. Hey, alright. I like that. There we go. Yeah, so now the heads are much closer to equal shapes, or sizes rather. You know, the neck is going to be right here. Gonna have to kind of go from there. Reimagine this, because we want it to be the same character. We want them to have the same shape and be recognizable at whatever angle. Like, you know, if you're a cartooner, if you do a lot of cartooning or kind of anything where you have to do repeating characters, you know, and that's such a big key thing that I have not even gotten close to figuring out. But it's fun to challenge myself with this kind of stuff, because it's I love cartoons. I love comic books and all that stuff. It's something I have spent a lot of time around. Superman comics were some of the first books I ever read, actually. It was at the recommendation of my cousin. We were really young, but he was like, I have these Superman comic books, and I was like, I think it's getting a little old to not know how to read. Took me a little bit longer. But my cousin, very cool older cousin, was like, yeah, you should just borrow some of these comic books. So I took a bunch of his Superman comic books home, and kind of just looked at the pictures for a long time, but eventually that was like one of the big things that helped me learn how to read as a kid. So beyond that, I mean, X-Men is just one of the more important pieces of media to me, just in a general sense. X-Men was one of the first comic books I ever tried to collect, as much as I could. This was I don't know, the late 90s. I'm pretty sure it was Jim Lee's run. But the X-Men animated series was also huge for me. This shows that the stories are just super important. At least in my opinion. And I am a Scott Summers fan. I don't know if that is going to turn you off. If you need to leave, I understand. But I love Scott Summers. It's just a fact of my life. I don't know. I think it started with me being kind of just a contrarian as a kid, but at this point, it's just most of the X-Men have a lot of really cool backstory and things that you can kind of find kind of yourself in this character or that character. And as a kid, it was I always really looked up to the leader characters. Leonardo was my favorite Ninja Turtle as a kid, and Cyclops was my favorite X-Men, and still is. I mean, granted, I fell off a long time ago, but I try and keep up, and I know that Scott has become something of a fairly radical figure within the books, and I know that currently they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff trying to unify all of the mutants and tell this really radical story about, I need to check in on my friends in the X-Men, because they're doing some really wild stuff that I need to catch up on. Alright, so let's take away this reference, because these guys look pretty similar. I don't know. I like it definitely more than the reference. As far as finding those similarities in these characters. Let's throw some color into this, huh? Alright, so we're actually just gonna I guess we could just dupe this layer, it's fine. And then fill tool, gonna just steal that color right out of there. And use it, and pop, and there we go. So now that the color's added in, I actually like this even more, if I'm being honest with you. It's funny. Hold on. Let me just oh, man. I'm sorry. Okay. So that's it. Oh, you know what? Let me do the little motion highlighty do's underneath this friend. And this brush, synthetic round bristle. Just find that color. Gimme. Okay. Go back to our circle tool. Yeah, okay. Not gonna lie, I kind of love these little friends. Me, just imagine them in a little sci-fi world, maybe with like some computers behind them. They're just little, maintenance droids or something like that. That's why they've got the the big eye and yellow vests. Make sure they're not easily lost. Seen from a distance. I had to save layers and not hopefully lessen the amount of slowdown in my drawings here. I'm just going to merge all these layers and then hide them. Oopsie. One more. There we go. Okay. And the next one we're going to do is this really messy friend. Let me know in the chat if you can even make heads or tails of what I was trying to do here. I would love to know, personally. Sometimes I like to go really hard on my strokes, and as you can tell, it is not always to my advantage. I think I wasn't necessarily trying to do something especially pretty here, to be very real. And although horrifying a little bit, it's still, there's something to it that I think is compelling. And proportionally, it's a little bit gorfy. I don't even know if we can really fix it. What if we lean into how messed up it looks? Let's try and do something in digital that doesn't look precise, that doesn't look super clean and planned out and modified to make work. Something very raw. Yeah, Ninetales? Oh, in here? Oh my god, yeah, okay. I can see it. Oh man, Ninetales. Oh, I just want to draw Ninetales. Oh, that's too big. Kind of see like the horse face shape here. Got the mouth. Somewhere around there would be the other eye, I think. And then you got the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh flowies. Yeah, this is Ninetales. I see it. Ninetales face tat. That's brave. Yeah, no kidding. Alright, so let's, alright. I'm about to get ahead of myself and go into color first. As much as I love doing that, I don't think it's going to be what I want to do right now. What size is this brush? Let me check your settings. Yeah, let's see. Nope. Not the right brush. What do I want? You, come here. I watch a little bit of mixed martial arts in my spare time, and that might be what's coming out here. There's been a lot of influence where that goes lately. I don't know if you follow my Insta, but you can see there I have actually drawn a couple of fighters from the UFC organization, as well as like a couple of boxers that I think are very talented. Big fans of. And yeah, man, I think maybe some of that influence is coming out in this one. Again, I suppose it could come from just about anywhere, couldn't it? But yeah, sometimes you just need to vent, you know? And like, sometimes a drawing is the most ethical answer for someone who you could vent to. Oh, this is gonna be wild. Okay, let me just look at this. Oopsie. Let's bring that. There we go. Okay. Oh geez, I got totally lost in thought there. Yeah, hi, I'm still here. This is a really intense one. I think these are teeth. Oh hey, thanks for the follow. That's really nice of you. Let me know what you think of this one. I'm very curious. But yeah, thank you, Raider Azteca. Thanks for the follow. This very messy piece turning out even messier. I am kind of loving it. This is see what we can do here. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so I'm just gonna remove a little of this paint. Try and define that mouth a little more. You know what? We don't need to do that right now. Actually, I think we're in a great place right now. Yeah. It's not bad. I think I want to get messy now. I know that this is already very messy, but we're gonna lean into it now. what? Let's try this out. The random color selector, randomized in that I can put it into a certain parameters. I use this pretty often. I really like this little tool. It can give me a lot of different results, a lot of different variety without me having to continually switch colors. Get that reference back up. Yeah, okay. So you can kind of see how I maybe put this eye a little bit too close to the bridge of the nose there. And yeah, it's obviously not having its best time right now, but we're gonna shift that over just a hair. Either way. And we're gonna try and lay some more foundation into it before we get into all of the mess of it. I don't know if you ever seen anybody who got punched in the eye a few too many times, but that eye certainly isn't a very clear shade of white anymore. Often gets real cloudy, hard to see out of, if you can see out of it at all. Especially if there's a cut above the eye. You have blood running into it and irritating it. That's a bad time. I would not recommend. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. This guy got weird. I love it. Nope. There we go. I'm gonna start a new layer now, so I can draw underneath all of this that I've laid out. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, you can see that slow down now. That's getting real wild. Throw a background layer or color in there. Let's say very dark blue. Oh goodness. Well, this gives me very bad time vibes. So I think I like it there. I almost want to just keep it just this way. Maybe I'll make the background color a little lighter so the color, or the, yeah. Oh, that's horrifying. Okay. Delicious. Let's call that there. I think I captured the energy quite sufficiently. So this next one's a little more complicated, but also still fairly straightforward. This blue man has a bad words that he is yelling. You can see this area. I do this thing a lot in physical mediums, especially when I was doing these a lot, where I would you can use a paint pen, you can use a Sharpie, you can use a whole lot of different things as long as the ink is nice and wet. And you just essentially blow into the tip while holding it fairly near the page. You can use kind of like which way you're blowing to kind of like direct where the ink or paint or whatever you're using will go, to kind of create this lovely little airbrushed, messy splotch. And yeah, I use this a lot, and I don't know. I think it adds something here, and I haven't really tried to do this in digital yet, so we'll see how this works out. I'm very interested. We're gonna have to do a little bit of legwork to get there. You can see my photograph, he's a little bit wonky, so we're gonna try and fix that as well in the process. But he's probably he was gonna be wonky regardless. Let's be honest. Yeah, this character design's really weird. I don't know what I was doing with this whole area. It's like a insect kind of vibe, I think, is what I was trying to do. Very, I don't know, gives me weird, like, Rocco's Modern Life vibes. It's really interesting. I kind of just noticed that I was using colors for line work. I think we just keep it. I think let's try and just do this lineless. That might be fun. Yeah. Oh. Okay, cool. Thought I was smearing. It looked like I was on my reference layer. I do that often enough, I need to check. Before I got in here today, I was listening to our podcast, Ignore the Bird, Follow the River. I was listening to our episode. And I gotta say, I mean, like, even hearing us talk about it, it's like, I feel like there's so much more that we could cover on this. Like, we could do so many different episodes that are just, like, really hyper-focusing on certain aspects of, like, why these two might be connected. One of my TikTok friends is this dude, Tom. This person, Tom, who does a lot of, Willow-related content as well. We've kind of bonded a little bit over that, and yeah, it's been really nice. Their stuff's really good, and they are very convinced that the connection between Willow and Star Wars will be canonized, or potentially even is already canonized. They take some very strong stances on it, and I absolutely love their passion for Willow, because there's not enough of it. Has anyone in the chat seen Willow? Anyone a big fan? Any fan of Willow's is a friend of mine, as far as I'm concerned.
These pictures are like from right before you called me the other day.
Oh, really? Very nice. What do you have to say about the weekend, kid?
Lightning.
Word of dude. You got any thoughts on it?
It was a moment.
What about a message to anybody that wasn't here that should be here next year?
Missed out. Missed the party. Missed out. Oh, that's too bad, too. Straight up.
Just realizing,
What would have been cool
as I'm getting through this,
being here this weekend? Nothing. Hella fucking
I want to take a look at what this is going to look like. Yeah.
It seems to have not been here. Right now, this is happening.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I was talking about it in the episode. Definitely go give it a listen. You can get it anywhere you get your podcasts. But I was talking about it in the episode, like, yeah, I want Willow to be part of the greater Marvel, Disney, cinematic universe that I'm sure they're concocting with all these multiverse stories. I just, I want Willow to be a part of that. Willow's been such an important part of my life, and, I wanted to get some of that shine, that I feel like it's been deserving this whole time. It's, I think, it's kind of in a way, it was always frustrating for me, growing up with Willow and wanting more, you can tell within, like, the story in watching Willow that there's so much more there. Reading between the lines of how the characters interact with each other, because there's not, like, a ton of explicit exposition. You, in many cases, kind of have to draw your own conclusions with it. And you can tell that they had a plan, There was definitely, they were hoping that Willow would take off in much the same way that Star Wars did. And unfortunately, it for one reason or another, it didn't necessarily. But we have all of these, we have, at least as a, like, Willow community, there's plenty of people who've been doing this, kind of, like, theorizing about when they're going to cross them over and how they'll do it. I just, I'm not someone who likes to make, like, any kind of assertions without, like, make, like, a strong argument for something there's not really, like, evidence for, So, like, I always kind of try and hinge my bets on these things. But, yeah, I gotta tell you, it would be really nice to see a lot more of Willow in the future, in the world of Mother World, or Anduin, whatever you call it. To see that explored more, because it's this really big, beautiful world with so much going on. I think it deserves that kind of treatment.
What about a message to anybody that wasn't here that should be here next year?
And I will be immensely happy. Almost regardless of whatever they do with it. It's going to be hard to mess this up. I've been waiting 35 years for this, essentially. Yeah. I'm old. I'm not that old. You're 35. I'm not calling you old. Though I feel it sometimes. I think in punk rock years, I'm closer to like 200, 300. Just judging by, laws of averages here.
So I just wanted to hop on, and they can hear me right now, Weston. Well, hopefully they can hear me.
What's up?
But I just realized, because, like, the staff in the Willow trailer for the new show has been reminding me of something for the longest time, and I remembered what it was. It's Loki's staff, the one that has the space stone in it.
Oh. That's fascinating.
It looks very similar in design.
Willow's just rocking an Infinity Stone.
Yeah,
That would
maybe
be,
maybe
that
he's
would be
the keeper
badass.
of the Infinity Stones in that universe.
Oh my god. I haven't seen the new Doctor Strange. Did they bring up the Infinity Stones in that at all? Or, like...
It brought up the multiverse stuff. They're trying to move away from the Infinity Stones more and more, is my understanding.
Good.
Because supposedly they are done with the Infinity Saga. It's hard to
it's
totally
like
disregard their existence, though.
Right. I mean, it's a completely busted, like, what's the word? MacGuffin,
Mm-hmm.
and especially like, you know, now that like there's established lore on it and all that stuff, it's you know, it's gonna be hard to say they just don't exist anymore. We're moving away from it. But you know, I think ultimately that's for the best. I want them to move away from it personally. You know, what I like about Marvel is the personal stories, the human story that kind of comes with the comics and the world. You know, that's how they were built. You know, to tell everyone's story.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's why I feel like Marvel Comics, to me, is superior to DC Comics. Because the superheroes in Marvel are easier to connect to than the mega superhero alien creatures that are in DC. The only one that I like from DC is Batman. And it's a normal dude with money and gadgets.
Drawing us into the ancient controversy. You know, I was never huge into DC stuff. It was not like, it wasn't anything that really hit with me. Like I said, I read Superman comics as a kid, but basically as soon as I started caring about what I was reading, it was like, yeah, no, I don't know any of these DC characters. I don't know. Not that interested. They have a great rogues gallery. You know, I think that's a big sell for why DC has been, you know, it's one of its selling points. They have a really good rogues gallery. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I haven't really ever connected any of those heroes personally. Like,
yeah, the villains are more interesting in DC for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the Green Lantern's a cool idea. I really like the idea of being able to wield your creative ability or your creative mind, you know, as like a weapon. It's a very fascinating idea.
Okay, so people might get mad at me for this. I did not think the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds was that bad. It was bad, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
That's fair.
I think it just got blown out of proportion because Ryan Reynolds himself is like, oh yeah, that movie's a big joke.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is they really hyped it up as being like, because Jeff Johns was like a big Green Lantern writer, and I'm pretty sure he helped like either with the screenplay or with story concept or something like that. But so they really hyped it up like it was going to be this like, you know, this big Green Lantern movie that did the character and the world justice, but you know, kind of was just the worst DC movie they've made so far, and that's, you know, saying something. But you know, I think it's been surpassed by the Suicide Squad. I don't know.
Wait, the Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad? Because there's the two of them now.
Oh, the first one with Jared Leto being obnoxious.
Yes.
And
yeah, that's
terrible.
the one I didn't bother seeing because I heard it was so bad.
Yeah, no, I had to see it because I had heard it was so bad. It's like I couldn't help myself. And yeah, it is very, very bad. So yeah, I don't know. I did watch the Green Lantern movie. You know, it's and you're right. It's not that bad.
But you're also right. Compared to the advertising that they did for it, it was a big letdown.
Yeah, I think like they really tried to sell it to like big fans of the franchise and the character, and ultimately that was their big mistake, was because it was more for like most of like the comic book movies. It's not really for them. It's for the people who are kind of just getting introduced to these characters and these worlds. Like, if you want to have that experience, you know, you need to actually go and track down the comic books and find the storylines that are relevant, or you know, people actually cared about what they were doing and weren't just getting a paycheck.
Dude, people won't even go out of their way to go and read Spider-Man's origins, which is why we keep getting new stories where they have to kill Uncle Ben again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like Spider-Man is just like they part of why they do that is because they never really figured out what the hell to do with Spider-Man. Like, there's been a lot of iterations of the character, and they've done a lot of things with him, but ultimately we always end up back at square one with Peter Parker, one way or the other. We end up back at, you know, web slinging photographer, or, you know, other low paying job. He's constantly having to juggle this his life, and like, I think yeah, it's hard to I think one of the smartest ideas is trying to like pass that torch, you know, where Peter Parker passes the torch, you know, to another character, another person that he sees part of himself in, you know, kind of like, you know, what eventually they would end up doing, well, in a lot of other comics. But yeah, I like that. I like a lot of that aspect of what Marvel's been trying to do, because a lot of these characters in their original forms, you know, it's like they've been telling stories about these characters for 70, 80 years in some cases. So, you know, who cares about OG Thor? I mean, you can, but if you care that much, go and read the hundreds and hundreds of comics that they put out that are, in many cases, some of the best work that Marvel's ever put out. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I guess that's just hard to get people to do. Most people don't want to read comics, and to be fair, they're not that good. The best comics are still a little bit wonky, unless you're used to reading comics, and then the format makes sense, and then the way that the dialogue is written, the text boxes are written, the way that the images are coming at you, the way that you're supposed to read them, all that stuff makes more sense, and you're more ready to buy in, you know?
I will say a big deterrent for me is that some of the issues that you would want to read in the series are quite rare, which makes them super expensive to find.
Yeah, super true, and they keep a really tight lock on that stuff. Like, you used to be able to, I'm, you know, outing myself here, but you used to be able to find all kinds of, like, either, like, scans or all kinds of different ways to read old comic books online. I'm sure that there still are, but now it's way, way harder. And they tend to keep a pretty tight lock on that stuff. I mean, they are owned by Disney, a company that is incredibly protective of all of its properties.
Now, does Disney own the comics as well? I as far as I'm aware, they only own the rights for, like, the Marvel Studios movies.
I have no idea.
Because I think Marvel still retains the rights for, like, the comics and, like, some merchandise that's not related to the movies. Things like that. I think they still have control over that.
Well, I know that I was reading, I was still reading comics when Marvel was purchased. And you could tell, I don't know, I always thought it was like a big change in how they were putting out comics. I mean, not just because they were able to put a lot more money into production, because they just made a bunch of money selling that to Disney, but like, they were already, like, incredibly, what's the word? There's a lot. You know, there was a lot then. You know, you would have, like, a few Wolverine books, a couple of X-Men titles out at a time. You know, you'd have most of your main comic book characters and teams represented in multiple comic books. But after the acquisition, that got even more drastic. I think if you walk into a comic book store right now, you could find, I don't know, probably at least half a dozen mainline just Wolverine titles. Not to mention, like, they're expanding on so many different characters. They're doing so many different, like, multi-layered arcs all at the same time. Like I said, I haven't really been reading a lot of this stuff, but I can't imagine keeping track of all of the continuity is very easy. And you know, I can't imagine it's always going to be perfect, a system.
Yeah, Well, let's think about it this way. There are people whose whole jobs are to maintain continuity, so yeah.
No, and not to discredit their work. I mean, that's like.
No, I'm saying it's
job.
hard.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. Trying to keep all those threads going at the same time is incredible. And I'm sure that Marvel has probably a dozen, if not more, people on that team, trying to keep track of all of the comics. I'm just like, I guess from a perspective of like, I was reading comic books a lot at that point, and suddenly it became almost impossible for me to actually afford to keep track of all of the stories that I had invested in up to that point. It kept getting harder and harder, and at this point it's just like I want to catch up on this recent X-Men arc because it sounds fascinating. This whole like them taking Genosha as like their home, or Krakatoa as their home, and kind of like essentially developing their own system of government and rehabilitating all of their old villains into people that are helping organize their community as mutants. They've completely reformed a lot of these characters, and like Mr. Sinister is, not trying to do really bad genocide times. So
He
it's
should
just
change his name.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if they were using his actual name at this point in the books. I don't know, but yeah, they're doing some really cool stuff with it. But the only way I can afford to keep up with that stuff is like by reading the Wikipedias on what's been released in the last couple of years, which is basically what I was doing before I ever, like when I was just trying to keep up with like before I started buying comics. Ultimately, when I was just like, oh, I'm interested in these worlds and these characters that I grew up with, but I am like actually bought comics since I was a child. Wikipedia was always like the go-to source, like if I wanted to hear about this era of X-Men that I never read, or know more about Iron Man, which was a character of, I never read any of those books as a kid. Let's take a look at this. Ah!
Hey, I'm actually I'm gonna hop off mic now, okay?
Great chatting as always.
Yeah, as
Thanks for
always.
coming.
No problem. Have a great one.
Yeah. So this guy is oh boy. What time is it? 29. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Tell you what, I'm gonna take a quick potty break. I'm gonna leave you with this terrifying image. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, so now that I can think straight, I think what I'm going to do, actually, start over. Just gonna, you know what? I was gonna just hide them. I'm gonna delete them. I'm gonna commit to this choice. spent 20 or so minutes doing it, but I want it to look right. Yeah, and I'm gonna change the fact that I was doing this outline with color. I'm gonna just go ahead and do it nice hard black. I'll make that a little smaller. Yeah, that's good. Probably not that big either. Let's go down to 10. See what that looks like. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Got a really funkily ear over here. I love it. I don't know what compelled me to draw this ear like this, but I sure did draw it like that, didn't I? I kind of love it though. Yeah, it's friggin' wild. Okay. Yeah, I really like cartoony styles. I just, I never really developed it. I get really precious over pieces and end up, like, even if I start out with, like, this intention to be really cartoony, I'll end up taking it way too seriously and come out with something that's, like, not quite realistic and not quite cartoony. Oftentimes, very terrifyingly. But occasionally, I get something like this that is very cartoony. And I don't know how that process works. It kind of just happened. And we'll get there. I'll just draw this line about 1,000 times. That's good enough. Okay. I don't hate that one. We'll keep it. There we go. And one more. One more. No, too many. There we go. That's good enough. Yeah. Oopsie. Hello. I have to use a little bit smaller a pen for this. Get this hand in here. Actually, I look at this hand, I'm like, I'm pretty proud of that. I'm terrible with hands, and this is not the worst one I've ever done. Maybe it isn't very good, now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, I see what I was doing. Yeah, okay, I'm simplifying a lot here, okay. Yeah, alright. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Okay. Boop. Boop. Hey. It's kind of still horrifying, but that's okay. Didn't like how this ear was looking. I'm just gonna take that line out and see what it looks like without it. Yeah, that's way better. Okay, we're just gonna keep it like that. I might add a little bit of length there. Nope. Not there. Go back to 10. Doesn't need to be there. It's fine. It's fine. Grab out my trusty tool. You know what? I think I wanted the pupils to kind of like, yeah, more oblong. Okay, I can do that. Anybody ever watch that show, The Oblongs? If you like Will Ferrell, I recommend it. It's like a really weird show on early Adult Swim. It's about this family, the Oblongs. They had a really hard life. Let's just leave it at that. But Will Ferrell played the dad, and he was incredibly endearing. What you think about that? Oh, I love it. Getting even more Muppety by the moment. Might need to adjust a little bit here. Yeah, let's grab this. I'm using this selection tool a lot lately. I was afraid of it for a long time. But Jesus, that makes my life easy. Oh, he's so handsome. Oh my goodness. Ah! Yeah. Okay, let's throw those eyebrows in. Eyebrows. I'm gonna really go down in size on that tip there. No. Lovely. Okay, let's get that line out of there. Never there. Just like that song. That I can't sing right now. Huh. I'm gonna have to create some clearance for this other eyebrow, I think. Ooh, too much. Okay. Thicker. Thicker the eyebrow. What is that? What does that look like? Thank you. Yes. Hey, alright. I don't hate that. Might fix it a little bit right now. Oopsie. Come back. Come back. Back. Yep. Tragic. Tragic Kingdom. By no doubt. Sorry, this is completely, I have not made sense, I don't think, once this stream. I hope that's what you're into, because that's what you've gotten today. That's good. That's fine. Not perfect. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. My eyeballs aren't even. Forget my eyebrows. I'm all wonky. My elbows don't even go straight. That's right. My arms have never I've never completely been straight. I don't know why. I don't know how. If you don't believe me, you can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Lava Submersible. And yeah, you can DM me. I'll send you a photo of how my arms don't go straight. I'll send you a whole video. I'll make it a whole story post. You know what? I'll make it a whole feed post. You better like it. If I make it, you gotta engage. just a thorax clipped on to some goat legs or some shit. I don't understand this at all. Hey, yeah. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Sam says they look like velociraptor legs or some shit, and I can't disagree with that. At least gives me something to call them that isn't goat legs on a thorax or some shit. Validating, truly. Aww, Grover's my favorite. Definitely some Grover influence coming out. Oh, definitely. Alright, well, yeah. That's, is that all the lines? Did I do all the line work already? Oh, I didn't do the words yet. Let's say bad words. Guys, don't say bad words. Just say the word. I'm not going to put you in language jail if you say the bad words. I think this guy didn't get that memo, though. Oh, cool. I didn't even think about this, but you guys get to see how bad I am at writing things. I mean, yeah, I definitely did this originally, but I was doing a lot of letter writing at that point. Yes, and so that's I have much more practiced at this point, and even then, this is not how somebody who had design experience would probably do it. But that's okay. Oopsie. Oopsie. We'll get it eventually. Oh. Yeah. You can retry that line as many times as I need to. Beautiful thing. Ah. It's, thank you. I think this is one of the first physical pieces I did when we moved down here. I can't really remember when I did this, to be honest with you, but it's in like a moleskin that I, like it's like a 3x6 or something like that. But I think I had this thing running from like, oh jeez. Judging by some of the stuff I wrote in the cover, which I tend to do when I'm like in a hurry, I have to very quickly write something down. I don't have anything else, like write it in a moleskin. Yeah, this, it literally has just ContraPoint written in here. So I had just heard about ContraPoint at some point early on into this moleskin's lifetime. So it's been several years now since I think I finished it last year before, something like that, during the pandemic. More. Ooh. Gentle. Alright. Oh god. Did I just draw that on? No, okay, good. I thought I did all that on my player. It's not bad. Let's throw some colors in there. Oh, I forgot the other hand. Let's not do that. That's funny. I could have sworn I... Whatever. Probably a better hand than I just did. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's our friend. Look at this. This little naughty goo ball. Oh no! That's why I thought I drew it. I drew it on the reference layer. There we go. Miraculous. What a goofball. Alright, let's do this color. Let's steal this color. Which is the blue I want to use here? I think the closest representation of the one I was actually trying to get in the original. Let's do view. And fill tool. Ooh. Excuse me. Oh no. I've got a gap. Let's close it. Close the gap. Close the gap. Did that do it? I think that did it. Let's try it again. Boop. No! No! What is the issue? Oh, maybe it's over here. Oopsie. Maybe it's here. And... I think that's it. That's probably closed. Okay, let's give it another shot. There we go. Did it. Torch down. Oh no, I've got to make the belly. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think. Should I just do all the blue all the way to the line here? I think I should. Yeah, and then we don't have to do a nice... Okay. Alright, well that's just scrumdiddlyumptious, isn't it? Man, I swear every time I go to watch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I get to that same scene where the lady's like singing the song about like after they do the beach scene, she's just like at her, you know, palatial estate, her family's home thing, and she just sings that song about like Dick Van Dyke's character and the kids. She's just like, I kind of like them, but you know, maybe they're not for me. Honestly, I'm not even remembering what that song's about correctly because it's so boring every single time. That's probably really mean to say, but I just, you know, no offense to the performer, I think it's just a boring song. So, just my opinion. Just my opinion. Oh snap. Okay. I don't hate it. Let me know if you do. No, the Truly Scrumptious song rips. It's after this Truly Scrumptious song. She's just standing there, like in like the front yard essentially of her family's like not candy house, but like the one that they purchased with all of the money they made from owning the candy factory. And they're just she's just standing there in like a white dress, white hat, I think on a white umbrella. It's like after their beach scene, and she's just like, oh my god. Like, I understand why no one would understand this song, because no one remembers this song because we all fall asleep at that point. Everyone on the planet. It's maybe it's magic. Maybe she's casting a spell on us. But it's too bad because if you do make it past that point, all of the rest of the movie is so fucking insane. I love that movie so much. And the child catcher, oh my god. My mom used to use the child catcher as like a threat. Like, you better be good. We'll get the child catcher. I'll marry the child catcher and shit like that. You didn't want to mess around. Because I didn't want the child catcher to be my replacement dad. No way. That sounds lame. Okay, thank you. I at least don't feel insane. I keep trying to rewatch it, and I haven't been able to get through a rewatch in a minute because that song is sleepy. It makes me very sleepy. Yeah, no. Imagine your mom just being like, yeah, I'll run away and marry the child catcher. You don't behave. Got me in shape. Sorta. I was terrified, but, you know. Guess that's what you gotta do sometimes. I don't know, I'm not a parent. I wouldn't suggest the tactic, but I don't know. I know that I know nothing. That's all. In the words of the great philosopher Popeye, I am what I am, and that's all that I am. So true, bestie. So true. Yeah. Well. It worked, that's for sure. I was very afraid. I can't remember, she used to use another example too of people she would leave me for, or leave my dad and run away with if I didn't get my shit together. Who was it? It's definitely the child catcher. I feel like it's another character like from a live action Disney movie from like the 70s, maybe even earlier. Never that one, but that would have been a good one. I think what it was Barnaby from the Annette Funicello, maybe it wasn't Annette Funicello, but it was like pretty sure it was a Disney produced Babes in Toyland from the 60s. No, it wasn't the Laurel and Hardy one. But they had the big bad Barnaby. the dude who played Barnaby in that movie did such a great job of just being so into the persona of I am evil and that is my entire persona and I love it. This is the worst. He's just so good at it, man. It's so over the top. It's so silly. I want to see Willem Dafoe in this role, just because it would be. I would. Just full disclosure, would probably just cream my shorts. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Barnaby was the other one. It's funny. I think if she had used Skeletor, I would have been even more afraid, because Skeletor gave me a big scare. The live-action Skeletor, not the animated Skeletor. But Frank Langella as Skeletor. I might have talked about this in my last art stream, but I absolutely adore the Master of the Universe movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. Very based He-Man who doesn't retain the throne after they take back Eternia. Yeah, I always love that element of it. Like, you don't ever see Randor, you don't see Cringer, you don't see any of the royal court. You just see He-Man and Teela and Man-at-Arms, and kind of like have, under the most unlikely of circumstances, taken their kingdom back. But He-Man never turns back into Prince Adam. And if you watch the show, you know that's not a great sign. If you were a big fan of He-Man, I mean, the Royal Court, and, King Randor, Orko, you know, these were really important characters. And them not being in the movie is kind of like, has some serious implications. Like, they're more than likely dead. And the only remaining people from, like, Grayskull that survived are Teela, Man-at-Arms, and He-Man, and maybe a few people here and there, but, like, it's just, I don't know. You can read it a lot of different ways, I feel like, but I have always read it like He-Man kind of gave up that power, you know, to be like a full-time protector of Eternia. And if you see Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe, it's out on Netflix, Revolution, I believe it's called. It kind of plays on similar text or similar ideas. I really hope that I don't know, if I ever talk to Kevin Smith, I would probably end up blabbing about He-Man for way too long and be annoyed. But that's I'm a huge fan of Kevin's work. Have been for a really long time. Will probably follow everything he does until the day I die, just out of sheer loyalty. But yeah, it's a rare thing for people to make movies with their friends and that be like their entire career. And like at a certain point could have been like, well, I could sit here and make a bunch of movies that don't matter to me, or I could change scope of completely from what I'm doing and do something that I'll care about forever. Make movies with my loved ones and make movies that matter maybe just to me. I fucking love that shit. That shit gets me going. That's what I want to do ultimately. Like, that's all I ever wanted to do is make movies with people I care about. Tell stories together, you know. Those opportunities to play and use your imagination, you know, be creative. It's I feel like they come less and less the older you get, you know. So to see someone whose entire career is ultimately just the thing I aspired to do since I was a little kid, always inspiring. No matter what I end up thinking of the final product of the film, you know? I don't think anyone thinks Yoga Hosers is the best movie ever made, but you can tell they had fun making it. I think that matters more, frankly.
Making dreams
Am I saying that right? Is it Yoga Hoosers? Yoga Hosers?
So records like a fucking...
It's just a weird Midwestern term. I can't remember. Or maybe Canadian. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that that movie was very bad. But it was fun. They had fun making it. You can tell that. I think it's just a, you know, one of those chances where it's like, I think it was like Death and Smith's daughters were going to the same school or something like that. Ended up being friends and hanging out a lot. Both of their dads are in the industry. You know, Dad, will you help us make this movie kind of shit? That's what I imagine it is. And I know Kevin's not has never seemed the type to say no to his daughter or his wife. So we got yoga hosers.
What about a message to anybody that wasn't here that should be here next year?
Missed out. Missed the party. Oh, that's too bad. Straight up.
Hella bad, right?
Dude, I've bought Dogma more than just about any movie on the planet. Like in my collection, because I think I've bought that copy of Dogma at least like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 times. Like it's ridiculous. That movie always ends up going missing. Mysteriously.
What about something that didn't come here because...
Oh dang, this looks dope. Let's mute that color a little bit. Wait, can we
It
just...
says that now, but I'm hella gonna go home and touch myself. I am into that.
You're going...
Down for that.
No.
Okay. I like this. Well, I had another drawing prepped, but I am pretty sure I will not get through it. It is the most complicated one so far. I think just a lot of like hatching and shading and stuff like that just end up taking quite a bit of time. So I'm probably just gonna keep working on this one for a minute. I just wanted to show you. Oops. Go away. This one. One I did last night. Very quickly. I really liked it. It's a just very simple face. But I don't think I would be able to achieve this in less than half an hour. So I think I might just work on a little bit of background for Mr. Bad Words, for Grover on psychedelics. Oh geez, thank you. Let's see what this is like. Come on. You're on top. Stop doing this to me. Oh, it's just slowed down. Okay. It's fine. It does this a lot. Oh my god. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna delete that layer. Delete this layer. Try it again. Yeah. Let's see if it'll work. I'm just curious now. Oh. Come on. There you go. Oh boy. I love it. Okay. Okay. Alright. Yeah, download Autodesk Sketchbook on your phone. Do a drawing with that. I dare you. Have me as a guest, by the way. I'm available. Oh, oopsie. Okay, good. Hey, alright. Well, I think this guy is pretty much done. My phone is slowing down fairly consistently. So, yeah, I only had like 15 or so minutes left in this. So, I think I'm going to wrap a little early today. But thank you everyone for showing up. You can follow me at Lava Submersible on Instagram and TikTok. You can also find Nerdcrafty over at TikTok. I do a lot of videos there. You can find our YouTube channel or our Twitch channel. I guess you're at our Twitch channel, so you don't need to find it. But yeah, you can find all of our links at nerdcrafty.com. And yeah, we've got a whole lot. We're always putting out more stuff. Take a look at our most recent episode of Ignore the Bird, Follow the River, where we talk about the Willow and Star Wars connections. And take care. Have a great week, y'all. Thanks for coming.